Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we head to Kyalami in South Africa for the latest round of this championship. This is the fifth to last round. We're getting to crunch point in the championship now and titles could be decided in the next few rounds. We do hope of course it goes all the way to the end, but let's see what the South African circuit brings for us today. Starting off with League 2, let's remind ourselves of the drivers and team standings. Earl Bamber leads the way on 141 points, only 4 ahead of Nick Tandy, who's had a fine run of form recently, taking his second win last time out in Marrakesh and is now 4 points away from our championship leader Earl Bamber. Shane van Gisbergen third on 133 ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 119. Joseph Newgarden 5th on 90 ahead of Jamie Whincup on 65. Roman De Angelis in the Lancia also on 65 ahead of Julian Anlauer on 64. Jaeger Fay in the second Lancia on 63 and Mitch Evans in the Ducati rounds out the top 10 on 51 points, still in the top 10 despite not having raced for the last few rounds. And in the teams, only 2 points separates Jaguar and Cupra Kiro at the moment, but Ducati and Lola still in close proximity as those 4 teams fight for those 3 promotion spots into League 1 next season. Lancia 5th on 128 ahead of Saxpeed on 108, 40 Corsa on 51 ahead of Mazda on 40, Pacific on 31, Iron Dames on 30, Ford on 26, Chip Ganassi on 23 and Toyota propping up the field on 19. There are no driver changes for today's League 2 race, so let's head straight to the grid and find out who will start where. And at the front it is a Lola 1-2 Kalle Rovanperä on pole, less than a tenth of a second ahead of Marcus Ericsson. Jamie Whincup third in the Cupra Kiro ahead of Roman De Angelis in the Lancia. Earl Bamber, our championship leader, will start 5th today ahead of Nick Tandy, his closest title rival, in 6th. Julian Anlauer 7th, Jaeger Fay 8th, Brendan Hartley 9th and Johnny Adam in 10th. A good qualifying day by the Saxpeed team altogether. In 11th, Shane van Gisbergen and 12th, Joseph Newgarden. Those two will be very disappointed with their qualifying positions today. Nick Cassidy 13th in the Mazda ahead of Kyle Kirkwood in the Chip Ganassi 14th. Kimo Kobayashi 15th ahead of Felipe Drogovic, Louis Delatraz, Colton Herter, Sho Suboy and Bites Gavissa in 20th place in the Iron Dames. And at the back, Zane Maloney, Dorian Pan, Jolyon Palmer, Callum Ilott, Richard Verschoor and Nick De Vries are 2 Toyotas at the back of the field for today's race. So will the 5th to last race of the season bring us any closer to determining who will be our champions this season? There's only one way to find out. Let's get down to trackside and head to the commentary box and hand over to Tom Cairns, ready and waiting to call this one. So Tom, let's get this started.
Lola are back at the head of the field. They're in need of a strong result to keep their hopes of promotion alive and a return to League 1. It's Rovanperä on pole alongside Ericsson. We've got 3, 4 and 5 lights coming on now. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Kyalami. It's a good getaway from Marcus Ericsson, who's stroke in front of Kalle Rovanperä before he even gets to the first corner, and it's a terrible start from the Finn, who's down to 4th place by the time they get to the second corner. So Ericsson leads. Whincup has got him to 2nd place from 3rd on the grid. Then it's De Angelis in 3rd place, making a good start. It's Rovanperä in 4th. Nick Tandy is up to 5th. Then it's Julian Anlauer, Brendan Hartley, Jaeger Fay, Earl Bamber and Shane van Gisbergen inside the top 10 on the first lap out of 54. Ericsson, who had a really poor time of it in Marrakesh last time out, needs a strong result if he is to become the League 2 Drivers' Champion once again. We're right on board with his teammate Kalle Rovanperä, making a dreadful start and has got with it all to do if he is to come away with his 2nd Grand Prix World Series victory. Look at Brendan Hartley as they come through the right-hander of the Crocodile and then the last corner of Ingrid before the lap is out. But over the line it's Ericsson who leads, making a cracking start. The lap times will come down in due course as we look at Earl Bamber trying to make a move on the Lancia of Jaeger Fay, but to no avail. Jolyon Palmer in the pits for Pacific at the end of the first lap. He must have picked up damage, and it's going to be a long race for the 2014 GP2 Series champion. And Marcus Ericsson, who tasted victory this season. Won the lead to Indianapolis Grand Prix. And I'll come back to that in a moment because Kalle Rovanperä has got by Roman De Angelis. That was over at the hairpin, and that was enough for him to go past. That was over at West Bank, and he's through into third place, making up for lost time. Through the last corner of Ingui and onto the brilliant straight. You see the fast laps being exchanged. It's Kalle Rovanperä who holds that now as he aims to go after Jamie Whincup. Go back to what I said about Marcus Ericsson, who's tasted victory once this season. That was at Indianapolis. Jamie Chadwick won the opening round in Aruba, and the other win coming at the expense of Kalle Rovanperä in Poznan on his debut. We've got someone dropping down the order. It looks like Colton Hertz has dropped a few positions. So we look at Kalle Rovanperä in third place, closing in on Jamie Whincup as we look at the Iron Danes of Biskavica, who's sitting in 20th place. Behind her is Kyalami, and there's Colton Hertz, Dorian Pan, and the two Toyotas of Richard Verschaw and Nick de Vries. This is round 14 of the season. 4 teams realistically in the fray for promotion to League One for Season 6. Jaguar are top of the pile. And then it's Cooper Kiro second, just 2 points coming in, 2 points behind them coming into this round. There's Ducati third and Lola in fourth place. And out goes Kyalami, who's had an accident. The rear wing has come off. I don't know whether he had a mechanical issue, but the Brit is off the circuit, and it's one of Kevin McMullen's cars out. He already had an issue. Before he hit the barrier, he whacked the barrier very, very hard. It's a good job there was no one directly in front of him. When he rejoined back onto the circuit, he's out of everyone's way, and it's race over for the reigning League 2 Drivers' Champion. It's been a disappointing campaign for Pacific. After their disastrous time of it in League 1 in Season 4. They will not be going up to League 1 this time around. And Nick Cassidy has pulled off the circuit. We did see a car go through the S's rather more leisurely. And that's one of David Yunt's cars out. That's one of the Mazdas gone from the League 2 Kyalami Grand Prix. Two cars out then. We're approaching the end of lap number 4. There are only 12 cars took the checker flag in the League 2 Marrakesh Grand Prix in the last rounds. And only 8 drivers took the checker flag, well 9 did, with one of them being disqualified for an incident that they were responsible to have caused. We do hope to see a number of drivers make it to the checker flag, hopefully more than half. But you never know with reliability, and given Kyalami's nature, it may have the most number of laps, or one of the more circuits that have a higher level of, in terms of quantity of laps to complete. The circuit's nature does see rather slower lap times than some in terms of the average speed. Jamie Whincup on the tail of Marcus Ericsson, but Kalle Rovanperä isn't too far behind. As we look at Ericsson going through the last corner of Ingui. As we look to El Bamba. The last corner down the pit straight, heading towards the Topher corner. Now there are alternate names for some of the corners around here. There are corners like Nashua, which is known as Barbecue. You've got Budget, which I think is also known as Sunset. And you've got Yellow Pages, which is the corner that Marcus Ericsson's just gone through. That is known as Clubhouse. Here is Say Maloney, making the move on the sole surviving Mazda of Show Zuboy. Moving up into 17th position. Further up ahead, we've got Julian Anlow and Nick Tandy close to one another. And we've just seen an overtake from Jamie Whincup. The Australian has got by Marcus Ericsson for the lead. This is over at Lukop. And that's a very good overtake there from the Cooper Kiro, and that's enough for him to go into the lead. It's been a super start to the race from the man who has been in form, very much in form, compared to what we saw from him at the beginning of Season 2. 3 seasons ago, that is now. It must feel like an eternity since he was racing for Scott Wizards' Simtech squad. Now he's finally into the race lead. Whincup has yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series, but his teammate Nick Tandy has won on a couple of occasions. The first one coming in Brno, which was only a few rounds ago, and he also won last time out in Marrakesh. Ericsson is struggling for pace, and I wonder if Kyalami is going to be given the go-ahead to head through. Unless Ericsson's on a one-stop strategy compared to most of his rivals, that could well explain his drop in pace. Just shows Zuboy is about to lose another position to the Iron Dames of Beitskavitsa, who heads past. It is so far so good for the Cooper Kiro team, their drivers in 1st and 6th. We see a move, or attempt of a move from Earl Bamber, the championship leader coming into this, on Shane van Gisbergen. Not van Gisbergen, it's Yiffy. Van Gisbergen is behind Earl Bamber. Only 4 points clear is Earl Bamber. Shane van Gisbergen was the championship leader coming into Marrakesh, but his retirement had not only allowed Earl Bamber to leapfrog into the lead, but Nick Tandy, who won the race in Marrakesh, going into 2nd. So that means Shane van Gisbergen with a lot to do, and the same for Marcus Ericsson. Who's driving behind Marcus Ericsson in the standings is Joseph Newgarden. He was able to end his Baron run of 3 consecutive non-finishers with a 5th place finish in Morocco. He's 51 points off the championship lead with 5 races to go, including this one. And Kyalami has got by his teammate Marcus Ericsson for 2nd position. He was able to get through that time around at Lukop. And there goes the well-regarded Finn, the 2-time World Rally Champion, is through into 2nd place over his Scandinavian teammate. You see Van Gisbergen in a Jaguar sandwich, Bamber in front, and Newgarden behind. Behind Newgarden is the 2nd of the Zach Speeds of Johnny Adam. It's Kyle Kirkwood in the Chip Ganassi in 13th, Felipe Drugovic in 14th position, as we see him on screen now. Behind him are the 240s of Louis Delatraz, and the most experienced driver in Grand Prix World Series history, Kamui Kobayashi. Long way to go. This leads to Kyalami Grand Prix. We've got the League 1 race to come later. The top 3 teams in League 2 will be promoted to League 1 at the end of this campaign. In contrast, the bottom 3 teams in League 1 will be relegated to League 2. The remaining rounds we've got left this season. We head to India at New Delhi. Then we head to Japan in Fuji, followed by Sepang, Malaysia. The final round of the season being held in Buriram in Thailand. Hosting its first ever Grand Prix World Series event. There's also the non-championship Macau Grand Prix, featuring the highest scoring 13 teams across the two leagues. Final scoring Brendan Hartley, E7, came close to his first victory in the championship for more than 2 seasons. The last one coming for Kevin McMullen's Pacific team in Sepang in season 3 in that season opener. Approaching the end of lap number 10, it's Jamie Whincup who leads, and it's Robin Pera, and it's Ericsson. DeAngelis is in 4th place. Canadian going well again. You see at the bottom, Jody Palmer is over 20 seconds behind. Victor Freeze is going to have to hope for a car breaker of an event to see him pick up any points, just as he did last time out in Marrakesh. Season 6 calendar is not too far away from being announced. And of course, there is a new championship that is about to commence in the coming weeks. Topher Smith will run down on that in due course. Focus what we are seeing here in South Africa. Kyle Kirkwood locking up at Blue Cup corner, and with only 1 championship point all season. He was running in the points, so he needed to put in the closing stages, and that dropped him out of the points to P12. One of the most unluckiest drivers in the field is Kyle Kirkwood. His points finishes, or the lack of points finishes, doesn't exactly tell the whole story of how quality of a driver he has been in the series. And looking more into the team's championship, whilst the promotion races are up for grabs, I think in terms of the minor positions, if you look from 40 downwards, I mean 40 came into this with 51 points, Mazda 40, Pacific 31, Iron Dames 30, Ford 26, Chip Ganassi 23 and Toyota 19. You could just take a good haul of points in one round alone to really swing the table, although there's nothing really at stake except for pride, I suppose. Last time the Grand Prix World Series came to Kyalami in League 2. Marcus Ericsson won out for Fun Mattel. League 1, Sebastian Buemi taking victory for Lighthouse. We've got an early pit stop for Toyota. Victor Freeze is in at the end of lap 12. I don't know if that's actually premature or whether it's a scheduled stop. Either way, he's attempting an undercut on those ahead. As we see the Fortnite drivers swapping positions, Kobayashi going ahead of Louis Delatraz. On board with Marcus Ericsson in P3, less than a second clear over Roman DeAngelis. As we see Johnny Adam going through. That was on Shane van Gisbergen, I believe. No, sorry, it was one of the Ducatis. Well, Shane van Gisbergen, I will say, is slowing down. Shane van Gisbergen, yet again, coming to a stop. His championship chances are slowly but surely diminishing here. And it's bad news for team manager Sam Hole. Shane van Gisbergen is out of the League 2 Kyalami Grand Prix. And it's no points for the Kiwi. It's a bad dent to Ducati's hopes of staying or getting promoted to League 1, and that's Kobayashi going off the circuit in avoidance of the Cooper Kiro coming out of the pits. Now that was Jamie Whincup. That was Jamie Whincup who came out of the pit lane, and Kobayashi had to take evasive action. I would say Kobayashi had enough time to react to that, in my point of view. I don't think you can blame too much on Whincup coming out of the pits the way he was doing. Yuffie has come into the pits as well for Lancia. Now, are the stewards going to take any action to the incident with Whincup and Kobayashi? In my point of view, I don't think they will. We'll just get confirmation, but I think no further action is going to be taken on that. Anyway, we're on lap 14. 3 drivers out of the race so far. Shane van Gisbergen, Nick Cassidy and Kyalami. And we've got pit lane activity over at Lola because Kalle Rovanperä is into the pit lane for his first of 2. That has allowed his teammate Marcus Ericsson to go through into the lead. Just to confirm, no investigation is needed on that incident with Kobayashi and Whincup. And Louis Delatros is coming into the pit lane, and there is Whincup nearly colliding with Kalle Rovanperä, and I will say, Rovanperä has got the jump on him. That's the thing with the pit exit round here in Kyalami. Just feeds back onto the racing line, which is not very helpful on those coming through. Don't expect any action to be taken. Dorian Panner's come into the pits for Iron Danes, and so does Kamui Kobayashi for repairs. Julian Anlauer in 3rd place, going after DeAngelis and Ericsson. First points in the Grand Prix World Series. Got Sack Speed and a Kubikira in. And Moa and Tandy are both in together. And there are attempts of an undercut on Ericsson and DeAngelis. So I would probably say Ericsson is going to try and do the one stop. Tandy come out ahead of Show Suboi. What about Anlauer? In fact, Anlauer's got the jump on Tandy, or perhaps he was ahead of Tandy before they came in. And there goes Kalle Rovanperä passing Kyle Kirkwood. Whincup quickly follows. Look at Old Bumber through Lukop, running in 3rd place. He's the favourite to take the League 2 Drivers' Championship this season. Team manager of Jaguar, Mike Smith, certainly hopes so, if I could get my words out. But Ericsson is doing a fine job with DeAngelis remaining in touch. We've got Bamba, Newgard and Adam, who have all yet to stop. Rovanperä is coming up behind Johnny had him very, very quickly. So he should be making light work of him. Well, he tries to at Barbecue, which didn't come off very, very well from his point of view. Well, Bamber running in P3. As we see Brendan Hartley, who's at the back of the field after making his trip to the pit lane. Toyota ahead, who doesn't want to hang around for too much longer. That was Richard for sure holding him up. Kobayashi at the back now with Johnny and Palmer for position. Need to freeze in 21st place. Then the stellar drive in Parnu, which is one of the rare races for Gillespie's team. Score a gaggle of points. El Bamber's coming from P3 for his first stop. Will this see him filter back out? Who's coming out now is Bamber. He joins in 15th place, but he's got Hartley heading through ahead of him, and Hartley's got the jump on him. So that's a position loss for Earl Bamber. He is on pressure tyres to Hartley. Palmer comes in for his first scheduled stop. In 10th position behind Felipe Dragovic. Jeremy DeAndres is running in P2. He's now in the pits. From that position. Sale fall behind Nate Sandy. Newgarden in from 4th place. Now it's vitally important for Ericsson if he can get to around about half race distance before he enters the pit lane, but Rovanperä is closing down the gap all the time. This is not going to be easy by any means for Ericsson. As we see Hartley come up behind DeAndres, who's exited the pit lane. Well, it's Yiffy rather. DeAndres has already exited the pit lane in 6th position. He's got Boyan lower now, so he can get on with his race. We'll see Rovanperä in P2, quickly closing down the gap on Ericsson. There goes the Ford of St. Maloney on Richard for Shaw for 16th position. Just see that Rovanperä has taken so much of the gap out of Ericsson on that last lap. I think at this rate, he'll probably be ahead of him within the next 3 laps. Kvitzer comes in for IM Dames. Ericsson was able to take, Rovanperä was able to take around about 8 tenths out of Ericsson's margin on the last sector alone. And out goes Herta in the Chip Ganassi. That looks like a suspension failure from that angle. Was it something more technical than that? It looks like a gearbox issue for the American. It's the 4th driver out of the race. Retirement for Phil Kinch and for his team. The team's first season in the GPWS. 5.5 seconds is the margin between the two Lolas. Hartley overtakes Show Superboy for 9th. Line up a pass on Richard for Shaw. He's 16th. Couple P3. Further ahead, Ericsson is now only, I think, just under a couple of seconds ahead. We'll see an overtake from Newgarden. I think that's Yuki who got by. It didn't look like Newgarden was going very, very quick at all. It's Delatras who's not going particularly quick. But he could be in for a stop very, very soon. Thought it was Newgarden, but I think it's just the liveries of the Jaguar and the Force are looking very similar. That's why I said Jaguar was to begin with, but it's now Delatras and the Force and Drogovic and stop behind Kyle Kirkwood. I saw a brief moment of seeing Layla's nose to tail. I think Topher may find himself in the lead in any second. There goes Drogovic, not quite there on Kirkwood. They want to go to the leaders because they are very much nose to tail. Rothenpauer is going to take the lead from Ericsson on this lap. It's now 3/10 off the Swedes. We'll see Newgarden get overtaken by Shane Maloney. Show Superboy who's holding the field up. Close. Dorian Pan gets past Louis Delatras. We'll switch our attentions to the top two. Ericsson's holding Rothenpauer. Just not going to please the Finn one bit. He needs to get by him here, does Rothenpauer, because Whincup is not far away. Out of Lucup. And down. Back straight towards Crocodile. And Maloney's going to go past Show Superboy. Maloney's picking them off one by one. This is brilliant driving from St. Maloney, and now Newgarden finally gets through on Show Superboy. They won't have been happy being stuck behind the Japanese. 4 drivers retiring from this one so far. Colton Herter, Shane van Gisbergen. We also lost Nick Cassidy and Hella Mylott. Amazingly, Rothenpauer has not been able to get by Ericsson as John Adam pits in. This is probably his one and only stop, and there goes Rothenpauer on Ericsson. Rothenpauer takes the lead of the race, but he lost so much time being stuck behind his Swedish teammate and rival. How long will it take for Whincup to go by? Adam exits the pit lane just behind Kyle Kirkwood. Ericsson won't be too far away from making his first stop of the race, his only stop. That is scheduled. The last corner. He's he actually overtakes Weizskowitzer. This drive ahead will be Richard for sure in the Toyota. He actually attempts to get by the Toyota. It's allowed the Iron Dane, so Witzer to go back through. Got a pit stop over at Ducati. Brendan Hartley is in. He'll struggle for pace in this. That might be his one and only stop now because his pace was so slow at the beginning. Thought he came in for a stop earlier, but in actual fact he hasn't. We see Winkup overtaking Marcus Ericsson, who's really, really struggling for tyre grip here. Marcus Ericsson. It's because Ericsson has decided he's had enough of being on the tyres, he's on. Should be joined in front of Yiffy. Bamber. Not able to get by Ericsson, but he is through on him now at turn 2. So it's vitally important that Ericsson overtakes Bamber to maximise his chances of winning this race. So he's on the tail of the Jaguar and should go through the next corner at Sunset. It's not there yet. Now it's down to Kalle Rovanperä, who aims his second win in this series. Only his 5th start. He's got a chance of winning this. 4 seconds clear of Jamie Winkup. He's got DeAngelis on his tail. Winkup hasn't been quick over the last few laps. Performance from Rovanperä again, some blistering pace. Ericsson's still stopped behind Bamber. 6, surely it won't be too long before he gets by him at some point. Ericsson should be close to Bamber. He's passed him over at Sunset. Through into P6. He's got 14 seconds to make up on Nick Tandy, so he's got all the clean ahead to make the most of before the second round of pit stops arrive. Into the second half of the race. A lot of overtaking happening. See the Mazda Show Suboi attempting to get by Julian Palmer, but wasn't able to make it on that occasion. Jamie Winkup is going after Roman DeAngelis. DeAngelis getting the jump on him in the first round of stops. Comes the Australian. It's Rovanperä who is continuing on his way and looking strong as ever. So that's one driver already in this race, and that's Richard for sure in the Toyota. There we see Brendan Hartley, who struggled for pace all day. He's not able to get by Dorian Pan. I haven't seen a retirement via a cloud of smoke so far in this. Hopefully I don't jinx that. It's Maloney leading this battle for 10th place ahead of Louis Delatrez and his teammate Felipe Drogovic. We'll see. Roman D'Angelo stuck behind the Toyota, who's there to lap. Comes into this round 6th position in the championship, despite the fact he's only competed 5 times. Another strong result. Not put him in front of Newgarden. He would stretch further clear of DeAngelis, although DeAngelis was running higher in this race than him, and they were level on points coming into this. So right now, even though Whincup is on course for a good result, he would fall behind DeAngelis. Kyalami Grand Prix, round 14 of the Grand Prix World Series. Season 5. Championship continues to go from strength to strength. See the Finn entering Lukot. Time to stretch the pace. Show Zubai, who is having to make do with Julian Palmer ahead. Squabble number 19. DeAngelis is not far behind. He's only 2.5 seconds back. In fact, he had an attempt to get by Dorian Pan. They collided at sunset but survived. Tandy enters the pit lane for Cooper Kilo. There goes Drogovic on Maloney for a place in the points. And it's race over for Yiafi. Engine fire on the Lancia. That's the 5th retirement, and it's game over for the Chinese driver. That's his 9th retirement of the season. It's not getting any better for him. And that will send warrior messages out to his teammate Roman DeAngelis. Of course, to team manager Chris Cavani. Louis Delatrez enters the pits for 40. His second stop. And it's Kelly Rovanpera who decides that he is not going to get stuck in the traffic. He comes in for his final stop. The end of lap 31. It's Felipe Drogovic who's running in 9th place now thanks to Yiafi's retirement. Ericsson is not too far behind, although has he been able to get in front of Rovanpera? I don't think he's been able to. Now Rovanpera doesn't need to fight with his teammate as he is just ahead of him. Rovanpera is now, where is he on the 6 times? He's 19 seconds off the lead. He'll be on the pressure tyres to be able to pull away from Ericsson. Look at Julian Anlower locking up at Lukot. And in P3 having a better race of it compared to previous. He had a fine start to the season, Julian Anlower. For his season begun to drop away. He should have won the Mugello race, not being for running wide and breaking his front wing. He is on a run of 3 consecutive non-finishes, and Richard Verschoor is going to continue his run of non-finishes of the circuit, and it's game over for the Dutchman. Two non-finishes in a row for him. It's a gearbox failure that sidelines one of Michael Gillespie's cars. Wasn't in the ranking to be scoring points, I don't think, anyway. We see Adam. He's just got by Maloney, who has entered the pit lane. So it's Roman DeAngelis who leads, but for how long will he remain out there for before he pits in? Because as it stands, if he was to pit in now, he will be behind the one stopping Marcus Ericsson. But he would be in front of El Bamba. Into the pit lane comes Jamie Whincup from second place. Six drivers out: Richard Bashaw, Yiffy, Colton Hertzert, Shane Van Gisbergen, Ian Cassidy, and Callum Eilon. Julian Anlau has come into the pit lane. Callum Romapera has posted a new fast stop of the race. Whincup rejoins behind El Bamba. Julian Anlau will rejoin well clear of Joseph Newgarden. Nick Tunde won't be getting to the end though. Engine smoke on the Cooper Kiro. Second place in the championship coming into this round, but his run of 3 consecutive podium finishes come to a halt in South Africa. There's more pit lane activity over at Lancia because Roman DeAngelis comes in. He does not want to get caught in the traffic. It's a smart move from the Canadian. It's now a Lola 1 and 2. Robin Power into the lead and Ericsson in second. Roman DeAngelis though will be on better tyres to both of them. Will be quicker significantly over Ericsson, but not much though compared to Robin Power. With Tandy no longer in this one, we have a free run in going after both of the Lola pilots. Lancia have already taken a victory this season in Campo Grande in Brazil, the second round of the season. That was taken by Yiffy. Can Roman DeAngelis break his duck and take victory here today? He's got 20 laps to do it. Joseph Newgarden, whose championship chances are slipping away. He's behind his teammate El Bamba, who's looking to stretch the margin in the standings. If the race was to finish as it is now, Marcus Ericsson will move up into third place in the standings. He'll be tied on points with Tandy, but Tandy will be ahead on countback. But Bamba, running in fourth place, he's got a chance to stretch that margin. It'll be 16 points with the way positions as they are, and I think we've still got more pit stops to come before this race is over. Freeze locking up at Lukop in front of Dorian Pan and Kyle Kirkwood. Last of the runners in this. Skavitsa enters the pit lane for Ian Dames. I suppose this is going to be the trouble for Callum Perez getting through the traffic, which can only help Marcus Ericsson and Roman DeAngelis. Bamba is overtaken by Jamie Whincup for fourth place. Now it's Julian Anlower who fancies his chances at the Kiwi. He's stuck that overtake was far too easy, and I think Dragovic has got some form of issue because that was far too easy of an overtake, and I would expect him to see him. I would expect him to head for the pit lane at the end of this lap. Roman Delangelis has overtaken Marcus Ericsson for second place. We didn't see the overtake, but we now know that the Lancia is no longer in third place because he's moved up one position, and we go after the leader. There's a back marker in the way, who I believe has only just come in for his final stop. So there'll be some time before Roman DeAngelis gets anywhere near Kyalami, who's lapped Kyle Kirkwood. Despite that issue, Dragovic has rejoined in 10th place inside the points. There's Anlauer nearly running into Earl Bamber at the Crocodile, surviving that time, but Bamber has decided he needs new tyres and fuel. Anlauer has got by Dorian Pan. Earl Bamber is into the pit lane. Where is he going to be trying? Can he get in front of Brendan Hartley? My guess is that he won't. He's behind him now. He is in front of Johnny Adam. Earl Bamber, as it stands, will be 8 points clear over his nearest rival, Nick Tandy. Gisbergen and Tandy not scoring. Ericsson's the closest of his rivals, who he's destined to score big. And that was a brilliant overtake there from Witzer on Show Superbike pole position at turn 1. You never know, Witzer could score her first Grand Prix World Series points. We'll switch our attentions to Kyalami, who continues to lead 5 seconds clear over DeAngelis. Looking at the race for promotion, Jaguar, who came into this in the lead, well, I'll just come back to that in a moment because Newgard is coming for his final stop. But where he is on the circuit, he'll get out in front of Felipe Dragovic in 9th. He'll promote Bamber up in position again. Bamber scoring 6 points right now. We've got 2, which makes it 8. This will see Jaguar move on to 239. Cooper Kiro, of course, for 12 points. They'll be leapfrogging Jaguar. We'll go on to 241. Ducati, we've got Brendan Hartley sitting in 7th place. Now, because Earl Bamber's overtaken him. So that's 2 more points coming in the way of Jaguar. And with the way things are going, they'll in fact be tied with Cooper Kiro. Now the Jaguar have got 2 wins to their name. They've got 3 wins to their name compared to Cooper Kiro. So Jaguar will still be ahead on Countback over them. Ducati only on course for 6 championship points with Brendan Hartley in 7th. They'll go on to 224. So they will be 17 points off the top of Jaguar and Cooper Kiro. Lola, who are on course to get pole position, fastest lap, the race win and 3rd place, which would give them 42. They will leapfrog into the lead on 246. Ducati, as it stands, will fall out of the top 3. It really is intensifying, not just in the race for the League 2 team title, but to seal promotion to League 1. DeAndres in 2nd place, got a couple of back markers now to deal with before You can think about going after Kyalami. There is Julian Palmer unlapping himself from Marcus Ericsson. That's something you don't see every day. I think Palmer must be on fresher tyres compared to Ericsson. He will be, because Palmer's pitted 3 times. Ericsson has pitted only once. The lockup from St. Maloney at Lucott in front of Rothenpera. Laps to go after this one. Are Lola going to celebrate their 4th win of the season, and the 2nd for Kyalami, who may not be in the championship fight by any means, but this result would move him into the top 10. He'll go on to 70 points with the maximum score he's about to collect here. He would be in front of Mitch Evans, he'll be in front of Yiffy. Won't go in front of Julian Anlo, because Anlo is running in 5th place, and his points would see him stay ahead of Rothenpera. And the same with Remy DeAngelis, who right now will be leapfrogging Jamie Whincup. And it's game over for Sho Suboy and for Mazda. And it's engine smoke for the Japanese. It's been a miserable day for David Young. He'll be focusing his attention on Season 6 in a bid to see his team finally get into League One. And Jamie Whincup looks like he's out as well. He is! Jamie Whincup retires from the League 2 Kyalami Grand Prix. We didn't see where he had pulled off, but we're not going to be seeing either of the Cooper Kiros making it to the checkered flag. There he is, look! Pulling off! With 13 laps to go, it is no points for Ed Spencer's team. Believe it or not, it's the first double retirement of the season for Cooper Kiro in their first season in the Grand Prix World Series. And that's a body blow, not only in the race for the team cycle, but also for promotion. And that promotes the likes of Earl Bamber, Brendan Hartley and Joseph Newgarden up the order. There is Newgarden, who was chasing after Brendan Hartley. Not even he was running wide like that. Now the retirement of Jamie Whincup has promoted Vaitka Vitsa up into the points. A great race from Vitsa. And that's one of the Lolas out. That's Marcus Ericsson. Marcus Ericsson retires from the race and he crashes into the already parked Nick Tandy. There may be a few words between Ed Hunter and team manager at Lola, Marcus Johansson, but that is another twist. That's one Lola out, both Cooper Kiros out of the race, and one of the Ducatis out. Jaguar are the only team from the top 4 to have 2 cars still running. That is a bad dent to Lola's hopes. But with the way things are going for Kyalami Rothenpera, he's still on course to win this as Newgarden chases after Brendan Hartley for 5th position. He's into the 6th straight. And he's going to go through on Brendan Hartley. Now, this is going to be me running through the setups. I should have gone through this earlier on. But to know who's got what, Pacific have gone for a neutral setup. Saxby mid downforce, the same for 40. Lola and Lancia maximum downforce. Ducati and Jaguar mid top speed. Chip Ganassi maximum downforce. Toyota mid top speed. IM Danes neutral. Ford and Cooper Kiro mid downforce. Mazda have gone for a neutral setup. Julian Anlower moves up to 3rd place in the standings in this race. Regards the Drivers' Championship in League 2. Albamba on course for 12 championship points, with Tandy out, Van Gisbergen out, Ericsson out. It's an opportunity for Newgarden to close in, but he'll still be losing ground to Albamba in the race for the title. Bamber right now will be 16 points clear over his nearest challenger if the race was to finish now. DeAngelis probably say that he's lost the battle to Kalle Rovanperä because he's now dropped back from where he was before. He's lost a couple of seconds from the last we spoke about the gap between the race leader and the man in second place. There is DeAngelis. Only mechanical trouble will stop Kalle Rovanperä from taking victory. Lola need this win. And that's Felipe Drogovic overtaking Johnny Adam for P7. Good race from Drogovic. This is by far his best of the season. 3 championship points coming into this one. The way things are going for him and for Ford, he'll be tripling that to 9. There is Kalle Rovanperä coming up to his next lap marker, which is Louis Delatraz. Just a reminder of the settings between Lola and Lancia. They've both got the same maximum downforce. But DeAngelis is responding. 5.6 seconds it's gone down to. It was reduced by 4/10 in the final sector of that lap. 9 to go. Can DeAngelis get his first Grand Prix World Series victory? DeAngelis as Rovanperä puts a lap on Louis Delatraz. And we've got a pit stop over at Jaguar, and this is not good news for Earl Bamber. He's having to come in and make an extra stop with only 9 laps left. That costs him 4th place to Joseph Newgarden, and it'll surely cost him 5th place to Brendan Hartley. A throttle issue has forced the Kiwi in. Get out in front of Hartley. He needs to get out of Felipe Drogovic. I don't think he's going to. And that's a slowdown for Julian Anloer. Another non-finish for the Frenchman. He is not having the best of luck this season. A 4th non-finish in a row for the Sax Speed pilot. From 3rd place, that podium for Chris Hosey is gone. And that promotes Joseph Newgarden up into 3rd place. We wouldn't have thought I'd be saying that at the start of this. And Brendan Hartley is up to 4th, which will give some reprieve for Ducati at least. Now, Earl Bamber's dropped to 6th place. He's got back in front of, well, he's in front of Julian Anloer. He's in 6th place. But Felipe Drogovic is up into 5th. Paul Ford, what a brilliant effort from him. There you see Brendan Hartley, who's only just ahead of Drogovic. It feels to me like Hartley isn't exactly going that quick at all. And Bamber's overtaken Drogovic, for your information. He's just got by. Now can he get by Brendan Hartley very, very quickly? Well, he tries to at Barbecue, but that was never going to work. He's going to go through here is Earl Bamber. He's on the fresher tyres. He's back into 4th place. And the next driver he's going to be chasing after is Joseph Newgarden, who's only 13, well, he's 13 seconds clear. I'd probably say it's going to be a stretch too far for Earl Bamber to make up that time, but we'll see how he gets on. Rovanperä still going, 4.4 seconds clear. It's coming down again between him and DeAngelis. And Bajska through all the gremlins of others, has found herself up into 7th place for Iron Danes. Jake Sanson is without a doubt going to be very, very pleased with her. Teammate Dorian Pan is running further down the order in 12th. You just never know in these final laps. Graham DeAngelis has just lapped Shane Maloney. The next driver who needs to lap is Louis Delatraz, and he's the last one between him and Kalle Rovanperä. A slight luck of Shane Maloney in front of Kamui Kobayashi, who's going for another points finish again. Six laps to go for the race leader. Lola of Kalle Rovanperä from Finland. El Bamba with the fresher tyres might try and go for a fastest lap. You just never know. Kobayashi overtakes Shane Maloney to go up into the points. So that's both of Dave Goddard's cars now inside the top 10. There goes DeAngelis lapping Delatraz, not wasting any more time. Don't think he's going to catch Rovanperä now, in honesty is. DeAngelis will give it a good try. Bamba is not getting the gap down enough on Newgarden, so I think Newgarden's third place is more or less safe. As it stands, with Bamba running in 4th place, he'll be leading by 16 points over Nick Tandy in 2nd, who won't be scoring. Van Gisbergen in 3rd, won't be scoring. Felipe Drugovich does pass Brendan Hartley for 5th position. This has been a strong effort from Drugovich. That might see, as we see, Jolyon Palmer retire from 13th position. No points it will be for Kevin McMullen's team. Fifth place finish for Ford. We'll see them leapfrog Pacific into 9th place just to add insult to injury to Kevin McMullen. IM Data will be leapfrogging them. So Pacific will drop down 2 positions in the Teams Championship in League 2. Rovanperä, 3.7 clear now over Louis DeAngelis. Not getting the gap down enough. Next back marker that Rovanperä will be catching up to will be Johnny Adam. Brendan Hartley's 6th position is far from secure because Bajtskavitsa is closing down on the keyring. 3.4 seconds the gap between Rovanperä and DeAngelis. Only 3 laps to go after this. It's been a superb effort from DeAngelis today. Really good effort again. Lance's hopes of promotion may be all but gone. The fighting spirit still burns around Kyalami. And there is Johnny Adam, who is close to being lapped. And it's really appalling luck for Jake Sanson and for Iron Dames. Bajtskavitsa retires unless she can get her car back to the pit lane, but I don't think she will do. She's past pit entry. What horrible, horrible luck for Bajtskavitsa. Through goes Adam, through goes Kobayashi, through goes Delatraz, through goes Shane Maloney into the points. And it's ne point for Bajtskavitsa. I will say, the gap between Rovanperä and DeAngelis has come down to 2.2 seconds. Make it 2 seconds now. DeAngelis was able to take a couple more tenths out of Rovanperä in the first sector alone. And even better news is that Rovanperä has been held up behind Johnny Adam. There's still hope yet for team manager Chris Cavney. Kalle Rovanpera's race win is not as secure as what it was around about 20 minutes ago. And you can just see Rovanpera's clearly getting held up behind Johnny Adam. Rovanpera gets by, but he's definitely lost time. How long will it be before De Angelis gets by the Zach speed? Rovanpera begins the penultimate lap. The gap is down to 1.1 seconds. There's no more back markers that Rovanpera has to deal with. Brendan Hartley is too far up the road to be thought about. Kyle Kirkwood, who's stuck behind Nick De Vries in the back of the 12. They are the last of the runners. Dorian Pan is just hoping that one more driver drops out ahead of her. There we see Kyle Kirkwood thinking about a move on Nick De Vries, who's not going to go past this time around. And De Angelis has been held up behind Johnny Adam. I think Rovanpera should be okay from here. There's a slight luck-up from El Bamba, who's 6 seconds behind Joseph Newgarden. With a couple of laps remaining, won't catch up to him. It'll be a good haul of points for Jaguar, who will in fact be extending their lead. And there we see De Vries and Kirkwood still fighting it out. This may not be for points. At least they're still tussling in the closing stages. We're now on the final lap. I think De Angelis is still stuck behind Johnny Adam, which will not please him. He'll be happy with his second place finish behind this man, Kalle Rovanpera. We've been treated to a brilliant race again. Rovanpera exits the S's for the last time. As he heads through Lukop for one more time in this brilliant race in Kyalami. Ericsson retiring, both Cooper Kiros not scoring. Ducati not scoring as much as they had hoped. But a really important day for Lola, who are outside the top three in the team's championship coming into this one. They needed this win so much. It's given them a more realistic chance of securing their place back in League One. Kalle Rovanpera wins the League 2 Kyalami Grand Prix. It's his second Grand Prix World Series victory. What result for both him and the team manager Marcus Johansson. Roman De Angelis in second place for Lancia. It's a cracking result, and it's a third place finish for Joseph Newgarden, who holds off Earl Bamba to the end. Bamba extends his lead in the Drivers' Championship with 4 races to go. Newgarden may be over a minute behind, or over half a minute behind the top 2, but it's a podium finish ahead of his teammate El Bamba, who was able to get the gap down to just under 3 seconds. And we turn to Felipe Drugovich, one of his best races of the season. The man who had started 16th is about to convert that into a 5th place finish, his best result so far. Ford will leapfrog up 2 positions in the team's championship. 5th place for Felipe Drugovich. The last driver on the lead lap is Brendan Hartley. It's a win for Kalle Rovanpera and for Lola. They are winners in the League 2 Kyalami Grand Prix. Second place is Roman De Angelis. A great result for Lancia again. Joseph Newgarden third. El Bamba in 4th. Bamba extends his lead in the championship. Felipe Drugovich in a brilliant 5th place under Brendan Hartley. Johnny Adam, the first of the lapped cars, in 7th. 240s inside the points with Kobayashi 8th and Delachaz 9th. The final point going to Sane Maloney and Ford. A great result for the team. Dorian Pan just missing out on points in 11th, with Nick De Vries in 12th place and Kyle Kirkwood in 13th. Bajtskowitza and Julian Palmer classified as finishers despite retiring. Julian Andler retiring from third place, as did Marcus Ericsson. Jamie Whincup also out. That's a bad dent to Cooper Kiro and for team manager Ed Hunter. Zhou Subai, Nick Tandy, Richard Forshaw, Yi Yufi, Colton Herter, Shane van Gisbergen, Nick Cassidy, and Callum Ilott were the drivers to not finish that race. The points for pole position and fastest up going to Kalle Rovanperä, today's race winner. A brilliant race again. Lola needed this so much. They could have done with Ericsson scoring as well, but they are now in the top 3 of the team's championship once more, with Cooper Kiro not scoring and Ducati not scoring as much as they had hoped. They are up into second place in the team's championship with 4 races to go. Jaguar are the favourites at the moment to win the team's championship and also go up to League One for next season in their maiden campaign in the Grand Prix World Series. In the Drivers' Championship, El Bamba seeing Nick Tandy, Shane van Gisbergen and Marcus Ericsson not scoring again, that has given him a good opportunity to extend his margin in the race for the title, and he's done so here with a 4th place finish, despite that scare of a throttle issue that forced him into the pits for a 3rd time. 16 points clear he is, but it's by no means a guarantee that he's going to become champion this season in League 2. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
So a second win of the campaign for Kalle Rovanperä, and a well-deserved one as well, in control throughout the whole race, and he takes the top step ahead of Roman De Angelis and Joseph Newgarden. But what has this race done to the drivers and team standings? Let's have a quick look now. Earl Bamber has extended his lead at the top of the standings, now up to 16 points over Nick Tandy, who didn't finish the race today. Shane van Gisbergen still on 133 ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 119. Joseph Newgarden up to 105 points ahead of Roman De Angelis on 83. Kalle Rovanperä moves up into 7th place in the standings with his 2nd win today. 70 points for the Finn ahead of Jamie Whincup, Julian Anlauer and Yi Yufi rounding out the top 10 on 63 points. In the teams, Jaguar extends their lead now up to 258 points over Lola's 231. Lola moves back up into the promotion spot, 2nd place for Marcus Johansson's team, and still fighting for this championship. Cooper Kiro 3rd on 229 ahead of Ducati on 226, and then a bit further down to Lancia on 146, Zach Speed on 114, 40 Corsa on 57, Mazda on 40, Ford on 37, Pacific on 31, and then nearer the back, Iron Dames on 30, Chip Ganassi on 23, and Toyota on 19. So that's League 2 done here in Kyalami. Let's move on to League 1 now and remind ourselves of the championship situation. Felix Rosenqvist leads the way on 128 points, 5 ahead of Scott Dixon on 123, and Tony Fix DaCosta 3rd on 122, ahead of Kevin Estra and Robin Friends, who have 113 points each, 15 points separating the top 5 as it stands. Scott McLaughlin 6th on 95 ahead of Kevin Magnussen on 86, Christopher Bell on 62, Ryo Hirakawa on 60, and Philip Hansen, after his win last time out in Marrakesh, moves up into the top 10 on 49 points. And looking at the teams, Arrows ahead of Onyx Grand Prix by only 5 points, 241 to 236. Von Mittal 3rd on 208 and chasing down that championship battle at the moment. HRT 4th on 157 ahead of BAR on 106, Minardi on 102, Force India on 79, Carlin on 58, Ram Racing on 42, Andretti on 41, and Prost, despite having their best day of the season so far last time out, still in the relegation zone on 34, Prema Racing on 26, and Simtech on 8. It's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle for them to get out of the relegation zone, but we will see what these last few races do to the championship. Before we get underway in the League 1 race, we have a few driver changes to bring you for today. And let's start off with the Simtech team, which also has a new team manager. Ben Hackerson has stepped in as the boss of that team and straight away has made a double driver change. Nolan Siegel returns to the team in place of Tina Hausman, returning to the seats that he started the season in. And on the other side of the garage, Tom Coronel has been dropped in favour of Leonardo Fornaroli, the reigning Formula 3 champion and current Formula 2 championship leader. It is expected that he will do a better job than Coronel, but we'll see how he gets on today on his debut here in the Grand Prix World Series. Over at HRT, Christopher Bell has been dropped entirely from the team. John Monroe deciding enough is enough for the NASCAR driver. and he has brought in Luke Browning in his place, the former Macau Grand Prix winner and Formula 2 title contender. John Monroe hopes that he will do a better job than Christopher Bell as they chase down that championship lead. At the Ram team, Joseph Loic will get his second appearance in the Grand Prix World Series after Igor Fraga was banned from today, having taken Tina Hausmann out of the Marrakesh Grand Prix last time out. Joseph Loic will be looking to impress as he chases a full-time seat for next season. And the biggest piece of driving news coming into today here in Kyalami, Robin Freins, one of our championship contenders, has been banned from today's race. Little bit of backstory to this one. He was involved in a collision with Philippe Albuquerque into the first corner at Marrakesh. Initially put down as no further action by the stewards, but after an appeal was launched and a new investigation was put through, it was found that Freins was found guilty for causing Albuquerque's crash. So Freins will now have to sit out today's Kyalami race, and in his place will be Rene Rast, the RML Nations Cup Championship leader, looking to make an impression on his debut here today. So quite a few bits of driving news there to bring you, but now let's head to the grid and find out who has qualified where. We had a Lola 1-2 in the League 2 race, and we have a Fon Metal 1-2 here today in the League 1 race. Kevin Magnussen on pole ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. Both of those still within a chance of claiming the championship this season, and they will be fighting it out for top honours between them. Kevin Estre third ahead of Felix Rosenqvist, our championship leader, starting fourth today. Rene Rast on his debut, a great job by him to start fifth, ahead of Scott Dixon, Philip Hansen, Scott McLaughlin. Luke Browning on his return will begin ninth in the HRT, and Ryo Hirakawa will start 10th today in the Minardi. Pascal Wehrlein in the other Minardi starts 11th ahead of Raffaele Marcello. Philippe Albuquerque 13th ahead of Buemi, who took his first podium of the season last time out in Marrakesh. John-Eric Verne 15th ahead of Stoffel van Dorn. Pato Ward, Jose Maria Lopez, Linus Lundqvist and Jake Dennis rounding out the top 20. And at the back, Oliver Rowland, Alex Palou, Leonardo Fornaroli out-qualifying his teammates for his debut today. And then at the back, Louis Foster and Joseph Loic propping up the field. Well, we had a really exciting League 2 race, and we hope that League 1 will provide more of the same. How is the championship battle going to look after today? There's only one way to find out. Let's go back to the commentary box and hand it back over to Tom Cairns. So Tom, take it away.
Kevin Magnussen on pole. He needs a good result to keep himself in the running for the title, and the same for Antonio Felix da Costa, who's aiming to break his duck again with his 9th Grand Prix World Series victory. The 5 lights are coming on now. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Kyalami. A good getaway from da Costa into the lead ahead of Kevin Magnussen. By the time they get to turn 1, a good start from him. Kevin Estre in 3rd place, retaining his spot, but Felix Rosenqvist is down 1 position behind Scott McLaughlin. Da Costa leads ahead of Magnussen. It's Estre, McLaughlin, Rosenqvist. Scott Dixon is in 6th place. Rene Rast on his debut is in P7 ahead of Ryo Hirakawa, Philip Hansen, the race winner in Marrakesh in the last race, and it's Raffaele Marcello rounding up the top 10 in the Force India. No dramas on the first lap. Field settled into the race rather nicely. Coming into this, Antonio Felix da Costa, 3rd place in the standings, came close to making history, becoming the first driver to win 9 career races in this championship. But it wasn't to be until his engine gave up the ghost with 6 laps remaining, and victory went to Philip Hansen. But Kevin Magnussen's got back into the lead now over Antonio Felix da Costa, so Magnussen is now back into the lead before lap 1 is over. Da Costa will have to settle for 2nd place this time around unless he has anything to respond to that. Kevin Estre P3, so we look at Jake Dennis. No one coming into the pits at the end of lap 1, which is good news. We've got a number of driver changes in the field, 5 in total. We'll begin with both Simtex, who replaced both Tom Coronel and Tina Hausmann, replaced by Nolan Siegel, who had already raced for the team this campaign, and the other driver in is Leo Fornaroli. Rene Rast substitutes in for the suspended Robin Freins at Arrows, after Freins is running with Albuquerque at the last race in Marrakesh. Luke Browning substituted for Christopher Bell at HRT for the rest of the season. The last change being over at Ram, where Joseph Loke is competing in his second race, substituting for Igor Fraga, who ran into Tina Hausman last time out. Fast stop of the race from Kevin Magnussen. There's also been a managerial change over at Simtek with Liv Simtek gone from the series. Her place has been taken by Ben Hackerson, who has managed teams before in the Retro Racing Managers League, the Grand Prix 2 World Championship and in the Group C Challenge years ago. Now has the chance to manage a Grand Prix World Series team for the first time. He's in charge of the Simtek squad. So we look at Stoffam Don, who's in front of Jose Maria Lopez in the fight for 16th place. Lopez not able to find a way past. His teammate Sebastian Buemi is in 13th behind Pascal Verline. And we look at Rene Rast, aiming to impress in his debut Grand Prix World Series race. 3 seconds is the gap between Magnussen and De Costa. McLaughlin in 4th, ahead of Felix Rosenqvist, who comes into this as the championship leader, despite only picking up 1 point in the last round. Scott Dixon, who may be second place in the championship, still yet to pick up his first win in the campaign. And just like De Costa, who could also achieve his 9th Grand Prix Series victory. Kevin Estra comes into this on a run of 3 consecutive retirements. He cannot afford another one here, really, if he is to become the Grand Prix Series champion this season. Then down on the setups for the teams. We begin with Prost, who have gone for maximum downforce, and off goes Pato O'Ward in the Carlin. It looks like he's had a spin into the gravel trap. It's been a wretched season for O'Ward, even though he picked up his second points finish of the season in Marrakesh, and he's broken his front wing as he rejoins back onto the track. HRT, BAR and Arrows have gone for mid-downforce, Force India neutral, Minardi mid-downforce, Simtek neutral, Onyx and Fonmetal mid-downforce, Carlin and Prema neutral, and Andretti and Ram have both gone for mid-downforce. And O'Ward has come in at the end of lap 4 for a front wing. Riding on board with Kevin Estra, 3rd place. 2 Fonmetals in front of him. Through goes Felix Rosenqvist on Scott McLaughlin for P4. Good overtake from Kamui Kobayashi. Felix Rosenqvist, I should say. I don't know why I said Kobayashi for a moment. But it's game over for Rosenqvist. The championship leader has been hit with another dent. First retirement of the race, and it happens to be the Swede. More woes for Topher Smith and for Arrows. There we look. Antonio Felix da Costa in 2nd place, ahead of Kevin Estra. McLaughlin goes back into 4th, Dixon now 5th, and it's the only Arrows left in the race. Rene Rast in 6th, Philip Hansen, Rio Hirakawa, Rafael Marcello, and Luke Browning all inside the top 10. Luke Browning, beating his first race for HRT, has raced in the championship before as Buemi gets past. Pascal Verline, Boemi, one of the stars in Marrakesh, getting the Prost team a much-needed podium and a good haul of points. And we see another overtake, this time from Joseph Loke on Nolan Siegel. Luke Browning raced in the championship last season for 40, most famous for his victory for the team at Indianapolis. He also competed in season 3 for Simtek. And there we see Philip Albuquerque, who's yet to score in the Grand Prix World Series, compared to his teammate who debuted at the same time as him. He's already found himself in the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship with 2 8th place finishes, a 3rd and a win. He's aiming for more here. Jake Dennis gets past his teammate Linus Lundqvist for 17th. In P3, so we go back to Kevin Magnussen, who's stretched the margin to more than 3 seconds over Antonio Felix da Costa. Patel come into this round 3rd in the standings, with one of the Arrows drivers out of the race. They've got a golden opportunity to close down the arrears between themselves, Onyx and Arrows. Looks like it's coming down to a 3-horse race between Arrows, Onyx and Fonmetal. Fonmetal have already won the League 2 Teams Championship in Season 3. They survived in League 1 by the skin of their teeth last season. They've got an opportunity to really close in. Have to hope that one of the Onyx drivers pulls out this one to maximise their chances. Stoff Van Don locks up in front of Jose Maria Lopez. Long way to go here. Looking at the relegation battle, Carlin, I would say, need a couple more points to virtually secure their League 1 status for next season. Carlin sit 8th on 57 points, and Philip Hansen is out! Out in the BAR goes Philip Hansen! A gearbox failure is the cause. That promotes Sebastian Boemi up into the points for Prost. Going back to what I was saying about Carlin, they are on 58 points, Ram in 9th on 42. And I get interrupted again because Kevin Magnussen is also retiring. From the race lead, it is game over for Kevin Magnussen again. Bad news for team manager Ewan Gale. And that promotes Antonio Felix da Costa into the lead. Kevin Estre now 2nd. Going back to what I said about the relegation battle, Carlin sit 8th on 58, Ram 9th on 42, Andretti 10th on 41, and then we get into the relegation zone where Prost sit on 34, Prema 2nd from bottom on 26, and Simtek rock bottom on 8. I think it's safe to say that Simtek are a given that they'll be heading down. It's just who will join with them. We're on lap 10 out of 54. Anything can happen. 3 drivers out of the race. Kevin Magnussen, Philip Hansen, and Felix Rosenquist. DaCosta leads, Estra second, and it's McLaughlin, Dixon and Rast who attempts to get by Scott Dixon at the last corner, which didn't come off. Luke Browning locking up at the last corner as well, whilst pursuing Rafael Marciello. Noemi is having a good race as well, winning a 9th, aiming for more points today. Kevin Estra in second position. The race winner in Rockingham, the race winner in Poznan. Going after the man who has won twice this season as well, in Hockenheim and in Brno. We ride on board with one of the other debutants in the field, Leo Fornaroli, who's holding up Alex Palou. Alex Palou ended his barren run of races without scoring. Must feel like a long time ago since Alex Palou's second place finish in the League One Campo Grande Grand Prix. That was in round 2. That has been very instrumental to Ram's hopes of surviving this season. In second place, his teammate Scott Dixon is holding up Rene Rast in the fight for 4th. Through Luke up again. McLaughlin, Dixon and Rast. 3rd, 4th and 5th. Going back to Antonio Felix DaCosta with his teammate already out. It's all on him to get the points for the team. As it stands, he'll be leading the Drivers' Championship. Kevin Madison already has the point for pole position, so that won't be taken away. Madison also has the point for the fast lap, which can be taken away if anyone out there can set a faster lap than what he has already done before he pulled off. Joseph Loke holding up Melon Siegel and Louis Foster at the back. They are going to have to hope for a lot of drivers to pull out of this, like what we saw in Marrakesh in the last round. You see because of the top 5 separated by 5 seconds. We've got Hirakawa, who's another 3.5 seconds off Rene Rast, who still held up by the Onyx of Scott Dixon. Hirakawa, who has won this season for Minardi in Jerez. We've got Marcello, Browning, Noemi, and Philip Albuquerque inside the points for BAR. Jake Dennis comes in as the first of those to make a scheduled stop. Likewise for Jose Maria Lopez. Noemi is 9/10 off. Nick Browning in the battle for 8th. Through goes Oliver Rowland on. Oh, that was contact between him and Lance Lundqvist, and that was very close to the Andretti coming worse off. See a replay here. Don't think any action will be taken. Well, actual fact, that looked more like the Andretti cutting across on Rowland rather than the other way round. No action will be taken on that, but that was very close to the pair of them going out. Kevin Estre is most certainly going to be pulling out for the 4th race in a row. He retires at the same spot as where his title rival Felix Rosenqvist had pulled off. It is game over for the Frenchman. Sebastian Buemi pits in for Prost for the first time, and his former teammate Jean-Luc Verne is in the pits as well. This plays further into the hands of Von Mattel, but we've had one Von Mattel, one Onyx, and one Arrows out of this. Scott McLaughlin in second place, Scott Dixon now third, and Rennie Rast fourth. So Ward coming through the last corner. Remember, he had to pit at the end of lap 4 for repairs. Just trying to get back into the fray for a possible point scoring position, which you never know later. Luke Browning still fighting it out with Rafael Marcello's Force India. Force India are one of those well and truly safe for another season in League One. He's just come into the pit lane at the same time as Luke Browning. Well, Luke Browning and Rafael Marcello are in, as is Philip Albuquerque. It's a busy pit lane. With Buemi pitting the lap before, can he complete an undercut on Luke Browning? And in fact, Buemi has completed an undercut on Browning and Marcello. That's great news for Prost. Oh, we got an incident. That's Nolan Siegel off the circuit, and who's he come together with there at turn 2? We just saw a Prema go off the circuit. There's a BAR that came out of the pit lane. Siegel went off the circuit, and he collided. In fact, that's one of the Force Indias. That would have been Rafael Marcello that came out of the pit lane. And Foster got tipped off the circuit as well by Jean-Luc Verne. So it's double disaster for Force India. So Verne, the culprit for the first incident, the victim for the second. Nolan Siegel, well, he's going to be livid with that. That's the problem with the pit exit round here in Kyalami. He's back on the track now, but he'll be in the pits at the end of this lap for a new nose section. And he's been given a 10-second time penalty for causing the incident and a back of the grid drop for the next race in New Delhi. And for the other incident involving Verne and Foster, Verne gets a 10-second time penalty for that. And that's bad news for Ed Spencer and for his team. Pit lane activity over at Arrows. Rennie Rast is in. He was running in 4th position before he came into the pit lane. Now we can see a train of cars leading by the Simtech. And Alex Blair has ducked out of that now because he no longer wants to be held up behind Leo Fornaroli. Here is Albuquerque. He'll go through on the ramp of Joseph Loke. Sebastian Buemi is stuck behind Leo Fornaroli. Not for long. He's ahead of him now. And the next man he'll be chasing after is Oliver Rowland, who is yet to pit in. Nolan Siegel heads back to the pit lane for a new nose section. Through goes Jake Dennis. Oh, sorry, through goes Louis Foster. Goes Jake Dennis. And I don't think it's going to be too long before Jose Maria Lopez makes his move. He's up the inside and he's going to go past. McLaughlin and Dixon are both in from 2nd and 3rd. Will Rene Rast complete an undercut? Well, it's going to be touch and go because he is stuck behind Stoffel Van Dorn, who's yet to pit in. I will say that Rast has completed an undercut on Dixon and McLaughlin. The undercut is working very, very effectively around this track. Foster is the only one of the leaders yet to come in. And there is a retirement for Stoffel Van Dorn. After a splendid showing. Oh, and that's the Onyx spinning around. That's Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon has spun off. Scott Dixon is out of the race. It looks like he's picked up an issue. It looks like he was going to pull off. He has pulled off. He's hit the barrier violently. And it's game over for Ryan Ferris and for his team. No points again for Dixon or for Estra. And Van Dorn still hasn't pulled off the circuit in the Carlin. He'll need to do so soon. The top two in the championship have already pulled out of this at around about 1/3 race distance. As Van Dorn is holding up the field, he's off the circuit now. No more of Van Dorn from this race. What horrible, horrible luck. Again for Perry Brown. Now Stoffel Van Dorn, who's a race winner here in Season 2 when he was racing for Simtech, is not going to be scoring this time around. That promotes Sebastian Buemi up into 6th place through all of this. He's on course to do the 2-stop in this. Can he pull away from Rafael Marcello? Dixon is out of the race, as is Van Dorn. We've also lost Kevin Estra. We've also lost Kevin Magnussen, Philip Hansen, and Felix Rosenquist. That is Jake Dennis, whose attempts to get by. I didn't quite see who it was. He was trying to get past, but either way, it didn't pay off. There are the list of retirements: Van Dorn, Dixon, Estra, Magnussen, Hansen, and Rosenquist. In the last race, none of the top 5 teams' cars made it to the checkered flag. Foster pits in for Prema. Right on board with Rene Rast, who's approaching the Minardi of Pascal Wehrlein, who is yet to stop in this one. As is his teammate Ryo Hirakawa, who is another 10 seconds up the road. He's in now though, at the end of lap 20. Rast is behind the other Minardi, going past now. Wehrlein stays out for another lap. Will Hirakawa rejoin ahead of Buemi? He will not. Buemi's completed an undercut. Buemi moves up into 5th place. But once Wehrlein comes in for his first stop, which could prove to be his only one, Buemi will be up into 4th place. Rast overtakes Pascal Wehrlein. Pascal over Scott McLaughlin, looking to follow suit sooner rather than later. Jake Dennis still having a look at Joseph Lowe for 13th. Gets a good drive coming out of Barbecue, and this should be a Sumdung overtake by the time they get to Sunset, and it is. Sweet overtake from Dennis. Andretti Andretti are looking over their shoulders at the moment. The Prost thriving so far in this event. Lopez is just outside the points. He's pitted. Linus Lundqvist has not yet pitted in the Andretti. We see Philip Albuquerque running in 8th ahead of Luke Browning. Verline in P3. Sebastian Buemi locks up at barbecue. He's just ahead of Rio Hirakawa. He'll be on slightly better tyres to the Prost. I think he's going to go past the Prost here. Is Hirakawa. Buemi actually is able to hold on ahead of the Japanese. This is good driving from Buemi. Now remember, the Prost is using the maximum downforce setup, whereas the Minardi is using the mid downforce setup, which means that the Prost is running more downforce compared to Giacomo Pagliaro's cars. Lopez overtakes Linus Lundqvist to go up into the points. As it stands with the positions as they are, Prost will leapfrog Ram and Andretti and get out of the bottom 3. Board with Scott McLaughlin, 15 seconds off the lead as Verline pits in for Minardi now. So we've got DaCosta leading, Rast second, and it's McLaughlin, Buemi, Hirakawa, Marcello, Albuquerque, Browning, and I think Verline will rejoin behind Lopez here. Well, Lopez up into 9th place, Lundqvist is now 10th. Now Pascal Verline, we believe, is going to go to the end of the race. And Rast is in second ahead of McLaughlin. DaCosta is still yet to stop in this race. He's expected to just make the 1. Roland overtakes Loke for 15th. Prema are looking destined for a return to lead team. They've really struggled for points. They did score last time out, but that was because Roland was the last driver to finish the race in 8th. Got some useful points for the team, but with the likes of Andretti, Ram and Prost outscoring them still, it's looking really bleak for Alex Johnston once again. Hirakawa has passed Buemi for 4th place. Costa is looking destined to win this one. If he was to pit in now, he'll rejoin right in the thick of the traffic actually. So he needs to decide what he's going to do here. Antonio Felix da Costa stays out for another lap. Out of the last corner comes Rio Hirakawa, who's running in 4th place. Verline is in a P11 ahead of Jake Dennis. We see Nolan Siegel down a lap in, well, I say down a lap, he's now back on the lead lap. He's in 20th position. It's unlikely he's going to be scoring points today. Lundqvist does finally pit in for Andretti. Otto Award comes in for the second time in this race. Rast has got the gap down to 7 seconds on Antonio Felix da Costa. How long will it be before da Costa heads for the pit lane? Browning in 8th for HRT. He's got the get down to 6.5 seconds. The pace is setting. Buemi continuing to hold up. Rafael Marcello. Approaching the halfway point in this. We've lost both Onyx drivers. We've lost the Arrows of Felix Rosenquist. We've lost the Von Mattel of Kevin Magnussen. Who still holds the fast lap point, as well as the pole position point that's guaranteed for him. But Von Mattel will be worried about whether DaCosta will make it to the end, given the reliability woes of their car. DaCosta is now in at the end of lap 26, which will see Rennie Rast lead the race on debut. Scott McLaughlin goes up into second place. We should see Ryo Hirakawa and Sebastian Buemi move up the order. DaCosta will rejoin behind Philip Albuquerque. I think Luke Browning is going to pass him here. Or maybe not. By the way, he's in the traffic, is DaCosta, which could prove to be a little bit of a difficulty. Rennie Rast will be pitting again before this race is over. Joseph Luke is in the pits for Ram. In his second race in this series. He'll put himself in the driver market for next season. Nolan Siegel is in for Simtek. And there is Joseph Lowe coming out of the pit lane. He'll go down a lap on the race leader. Hirakawa up into third place, 5 seconds clear over Sebastian Buemi. There is the Simtek of Nolan Siegel coming out. No dramas there. Rast in the lead. Are we going to see another driver taking victory on debut? Something which the likes of Kalle Rovanperä, Helio Castroneves was able to do it on this track in Season 2. The same for Kamui Kobayashi in the first ever Grand Prix World Series race in 2020. We also had Callum Ilott winning on debut in Taupo in Season 2. It's a rarity that we see anyone win on debut. But could Rennie Rast become the 5th driver to join that list? With Pascal Wehrlein going after Sean O'Fern. Rast is continuing on his way with 26 laps remaining. DaCosta goes through on Philip Albuquerque for position, passing his compatriot. Rast is coming up to the lap. Ward, the only car then left in the race. As we look at Leo Fornaroli, who's having a respectable debut in 15th. The championship leader in Formula 2. Goodness knows where he's going to end up in the real motor racing world, as well as Grand Prix World Series. We saw Pato Ward coming in. It's the third time he's made a pit stop in this race. It's been a miserable one for team manager Perry Brown. He's leaving the pit lane now. There's O'Ward. There's no chance of him scoring points in this. Looking at the gap between McLaughlin in second and Hirakawa in third, I have to say Hirakawa is getting the gap down brilliantly. 3 seconds the margin now between the Kiwi and the Japanese. Lopez in 9th. This will be a good haul of points for the Prost team if they hold on. Rowland and Palou fights it out for 13th. No way through for Oliver Rowland that time. Both chasing Jake Dennis, who was one of the earliest drivers to pit in for a scheduled stop. Verline passes Vern for 10th place. And Bass locks up at Barbecue. That was so nearly curtains. As Buemi pits in for the second time in this, as does Luke Browning. Vern is coming in for Force India. Sebastian Buemi will rejoin behind Pascal Verline in 9th. He's actually come out in some good, clean air, actually. Verline is on the one stop, can go to the end. Buemi will be on better tyres compared to Verline. So I don't think it's going to be too long before Buemi gets close enough to make a move. Continues to lead, and Hirakawa has got the gap down to 2.3 seconds. Well, that goes out the window because Scott McLaughlin's car is on fire on lap 32. Race over for the Kiwi, and that is surely his chances of becoming the Grand Prix World Series champion for this season. And it's a retirement also for Leo Fornaroli and Simtek. He's gone from this one, and that pushes Simtek closer to the drop. Here's Mario Lopez coming in for Prost. He's got a good chance of points, there's no doubt about that for the Argentine. Where's he going to filter back out, I wonder? He will come back out ahead of Jean-Luc Verne, who comes out, ooh, nearly colliding actually with Jose Maria Lopez. That was so nearly contact at turn 2, and that could have got Verne into a little bit of trouble. Runs wide. Now remember, Verne does have that time penalty for his part in the incident with Louis Foster at Ingui. I wonder if there's going to be any action being taken on that incident. My assumption is that there won't be. René Rast is in for his last stop, so De Costa will go back into the lead once Hirakawa comes in for his last stop. So it's Hirakawa into the lead. I don't think it's going to be too long before De Costa gets there, though. And thinking of it, Buemi's got a chance for his second consecutive podium finish. Albuquerque and Marcello are both in. Marcello and Albuquerque rejoining in 7th and 8th. And René Rast, after that last stop of his, is only now just under 5 seconds off Antonio Felix da Costa. There we look at Ryo Hirakawa. Browning is going for it on Pascal Wehrlein for 5th place, and that was a brilliant move from Luke Browning in the only HRT left in the race. Here's Ryo Hirakawa on his way to his 3rd Grand Prix World Series win. Lopez overtakes Louis Foster to go back into the top 10. Rast is just over 4 seconds off da Costa, who are both hunting Ryo Hirakawa for the race win. Marcello passes Wehrlein for 6th place. Not a bad overtake there from the Swiss Italian. Look at Philip Albuquerque, who is yet to score in the Grand Prix World Series. Can he change that today with a solid performance here? Well, he's doing well so far. He's got a comfortable cushion over Oliver Rowland. Now we ride on Bobby Brennan Rast, who's got the gap down to less than 2.7 seconds on Antonio Felix da Costa, who's been held up by Nolan Siegel, who gets out of the way eventually, but that's going to cost da Costa time. He's going for it here on the one-stopping Pascal Wehrlein. And Albuquerque is finally through on the German. Rene Rast is closing in on the back marker of Nolan Siegel, and it's into the pits for Ryo Hirakawa. Now we will rejoin in P3 ahead of Sebastian Buemi. There's an overtake from Jake Dennis on Louis Foster for 12th. Verne has that time penalty, which will drop him back. Da Costa and Rast go through into 1st and 2nd. Verne, meanwhile, continues to lock up. Hirakawa has rejoined the race in 3rd. And it's race over for Rene Rast! He has pulled off! With an engine failure, a spirited debut has come to a premature close for Rene Rast, in a violent way as well, by the way he's gone off the circuit. Antonio Felix da Costa should have a free run to victory. It's game over for Arrows and for team manager Topher Smith. Neither Arrows or Onyx are going to be scoring. Up to 3rd place goes Sebastian Buemi now. Are Prost going to get a 2nd podium finish in a row? These haul of points for Prost will see them leapfrog Andretti and Ram out of the bottom 3. Ram will be pushed into it. Well, I say that, Andretti, no, they will be pushed into it because Jake Dennis will move in front of Jean-Luc Verne, and from being in 9th position, entering this race, Ram will fall into the relegation zone. With the way things are going, Prost are on course for 19 championship points. That will be their best haul of points all season. They'll move on to 53. Andretti will be on 43. Ram, who are not set to score, will fall into the relegation zone on 42. 9 drivers out of the race. René Rast, Scott McLaughlin, Leo Fornaroli, Stoffel Van Dorn, Scott Dixon, Kevin Estra, Kevin Magnussen, Philip Hansen and Felix Rosenquist. Another pit stop over at Prema as Louis Foster comes in for his final stop. Now, Ryo Hirakawa, maybe 15 seconds off the lead, but he'll be on the fresher rubber to the Portuguese, and it's out of the race for Alex Palou in the Ram, who suffer more reliability woes. That makes life even more easier for the likes of Andretti and for Prost. Gap is 14.7 seconds at the beginning of this lap. Keep an eye on the gap between Da Costa and Hirakawa. He's got a back marker ahead of him. I think that is Nolan Siegel that he'll be approaching. But in the first sector alone, Hirakawa has taken a whole second out of Da Costa on that last sector alone. He's got enough time as we see the battle for the final podium position between Buemi, Browning, Marciello and Albuquerque. John Vern's time penalty will drop him out of the points, which will promote Dennis and Lundqvist. There we see Sebastian Buemi in third place, having a strong one in this. Hirakawa is able to take 1.7 seconds out of Da Costa's lead on the last lap. Browning locks up at the final corner, as does Marciello. They're pushing ever so hard here in Kyalami. 16 laps remaining. Da Costa, twice a race winner this season. Ryo Hirakawa, winner in Jerez. Prost haven't won since the League One Japan Grand Prix last season. And we've just seen an overtake from Louis Foster and Antonio Felix da Costa to unlap himself. Oh, you just saw Hirakawa having to fight his way past Pato Award, and that was very nearly an airplane accident. Sebastian Buemi in third place, doing his best to keep up with Hirakawa and Da Costa. There's no way he's going to catch up to them. You have to hope that they will fall away. Vern's time penalty will now only drop him one position, because Lundqvist is more than 10 seconds off him. The gap is now down to 11.4 seconds between Da Costa and Hirakawa. 15 laps to go. Ryo Hirakawa in the first sector alone has only been able to narrow it down by a couple of tenths. Costa closing in on Joseph Loke. He is one of those on the one stop, like Da Costa. In the second sector alone, Hirakawa's got the gap down by another 7 tenths. Very encouraging. So he's taken 9 tenths out of Da Costa's lead in the first in the first 2 sectors of this lap. Antonio Felix da Costa right now, as it stands, will move into the championship lead. And not only that, he'll break the record for the most number of Grand Prix World Series wins by one driver. He'll move on to 9. His chance in Marrakesh went begging. Estra won't be scoring. Friends obviously won't be scoring because he's not competing today. Scott McLaughlin won't be scoring, and Magnussen's only got the pole position and fast lap points at best. Da Costa cannot have a better day than this one. Rio Hirakawa is coming up to lap Nolan Siegel. .2 seconds now between Da Costa and Hirakawa. Not long to go in this race. And Da Costa's going to go over the line here. With 13 laps remaining. Luke Browning running in 4th position. Very, very good for a strong result on his return to the Grand Prix World Series. Oliver Rowland just outside the points in P11. Foster has got by Joseph Loke 4th position. Now Rowland's already passed Linus Lundqvist. He's doing his best to get the gap down to Jake Dennis and also to Jean-Luc Verne. Every point counts for Prema. Sebastian Buemi in P3 is also catching Da Costa, but he isn't catching Hirakawa. And Philippe Albuquerque retires from 6th place. A terrible, terrible shame for him and for BAR. Another race without points. He'll have to wait until New Delhi to finally score. After that win in Marrakesh, it is ne point for team manager Will Knight. Verline, Lopez, Verne, Dennis and Rowland will now move up into the points. Can Prema score for the 2nd race in a row? Da Costa has lapped Joseph Loke. 12 laps remaining. .3 seconds is the gap in sector 1 on this one. Now Da Costa won't want to take too many risks here, but he knows this win is just as important really for Formatel. They're looking to close in on Onyx and Arrows. 27 championship points will get the gap down. It's just 1 point between them and 2nd place Onyx, and 6 points between them and leaders Arrows. Albuquerque's retirement has promoted Lopez up into 6th place, which will be the best result of his season so far. If he remains there, and Prost will get 21 championship points, or 23 rather. He'll move on to 57. Be within 1 point of 8th place Carlin. And Rowland's getting the gap down on Verne. Rowland might just move up to 9th once Verne's time penalty is applied. Holding on to 3rd place rather nicely. The gap between Da Costa and Hirakawa was 5.5 seconds in sector 1. It's now 4.7. Hirakawa took 8 tenths out of Da Costa's lead on the last sector alone. Catching is one thing, passing is another. Now Formatel are running the mid-downforce setup. Minardi are running the same. The same setups for Da Costa and Hirakawa, just different strategies. But Hirakawa's now got a back marker he has to deal with. Verne has overtaken Verline on track. There goes Hirakawa lapping Loke. Vern's time penalty will see him drop behind Oliver Rowland into 10th place. He'll be far enough ahead of Linus Lundqvist. Costa is now only 3.3 clear of Hirakawa. His hold on the lead is becoming increasingly tenuous. Otto Ward is now behind Naomi Siegel in the battle for 14th. Siegel does have that time penalty hanging over him. So as it stands, he'll fall behind Otto Ward. Let's see if O'Ward can pass him on the track anyway. And Dennis overtakes Verline now for position, moves up to 8th place. Crucial points coming in the way of Andretti here. Oliver Rowland locking up at Lukot. Gap down to 2.3 between Da Costa and Hirakawa in sector 1. Minardi going to get their second win of the season. Luis Da Costa, the former Minardi driver, going to hold on to the checker flag. It doesn't look like that way by the rate of which Hirakawa has been getting the gap down. 1.5 seconds it is. It's so tense. It's really, really intense. See Buemi, Browning and Marcello all fighting for the final podium spot. This is the battle for the lead. It's down to 1 second between Da Costa and Hirakawa. The man who is destined to take the lead in the championship has got a win to race for here, and vitally important for Fonmetal. Minardi, well, they've got nothing to lose. They're not in the battle for the championship or in the battle to beat the drop. They want every point they can get. Rio Hirakawa is on the tail of Antonio Fierce Da Costa. It's down to half a second. Louis Foster is on the tail of Linus Lundqvist for P11. Want to get by as soon as he can. And Hirakawa's through! Rio Hirakawa overtakes Antonio Fierce Da Costa, and he leads the League One Kyalami Grand Prix with 8 laps remaining. A superb overtake over at Lukop sees the Japanese driver through at last. A lead of over 15 seconds after Hirakawa pitted in for his final stop was able to be clawed back by him. Buemi laps Nolan Siegel and Luke Browning, and Rafael Marcello looking to try and do the same. Browning gets through, Marcello gets held up. That's going to displease the Force India pilot. Antonio Fierce Da Costa conceding, and now he has to hope that he can just get his car to the end. Marcello does lap Nolan Siegel in the end. That's going to really hurt his chances of getting on the podium. Minardi, who go into this race, or came into this one, 4 points off 5th place BAR with a victory and 8th place coming in the way because Vern has that time penalty to be applied. They'll give them 29 championship points, they'll be well clear of BAR. And close in on 4th place HRT. Vern, as it stands with that time penalty, will drop to P10. Louis Foster did get past Linus Lundqvist at last. There's no way he's going to catch up to Rowland, and I don't think he's going to get the gap down enough on Vern either. There we see Louis Foster, who's clear of Linus Lundqvist, who's about to be lapped by Rio Hirakawa. And out goes Marcello in the Force India. It gets worse for Ed Spencer, and it's an engine fire that sees him pull out of this. That's a terrible shame for Marcello. It's another non-finish for him. And that promotes Jose Maria Lopez up to 5th. It gets even better for Prost, strengthening their grip on survival. Antonio Felix da Costa in 2nd place. He just has to hope for the checker flag to come out now, really. So Verne moves up to 6th on track, but that penalty of his will drop him down to 9th place, promoting Roland up to 8th. And Louis Foster, with Marcello's retirement, will go up into the points. Are Prema going to get points again? It would be their 2nd double points score this season. It gives Alex Johnson some form of hope as Brahimi locks up whilst closing in on Pato O'Ward to lap. Luke Browning's only just behind him. Brahimi needs these points, as do Prost. Fourteen drivers left in the race. 12 out. 5 laps remaining. There's Oliver Rowland closing on Verline, and he's passed Pascal Verline. That was a super overtake from Oliver Rowland on Pascal Verline. More points coming in the way of Prema. Right now, Prema are going to get 7 championship points, with Verne dropping down the order. That will move Prema on to 33 points, which would leave them, considering that Andretti are about to score 8 championship points. Andretti will move on to 49, as Brahimi finally does lap Pato O'Ward, who now holds up Luke Browning, who's chasing a podium on his return. Lundqvist is lapped by Antonio Felix da Costa. So in the relegation battle, with Prost getting 25 championship points, a massive hold. They'll move in front of 8th place Carlin, who will drop to 9th on 58. And it's Andretti in 10th on 49. And Ram will drop into the relegation zone on 41. Prema, with their points haul, will move on to 33, which will leave them 16 points from safety. So the gap will still be bigger for Prema to survive than it was before this race has started. There's still time for change in this race. Ryo Hirakawa is not far away from victory. He's got 3 more laps to go. Costa's now 5 seconds off him. Consigned to a 2nd place finish. Louis Foster is doing his best to stay on the lead lap, but that's looking increasingly unlikely. Joseph Lowe looks like he's going to be finishing for the first time in the Grand Prix World Series. He failed to finish his maiden appearance in the League One Hockenheim Grand Prix. He substituted for the suspended Alex Palou. He's come in today in place of the suspended Igor Praga. And it looks like he's going to get his first finish after all. Well, he will do now because he's completed 90% of the race leader's distance. It's been a super drive. Nolan Siegel's time penalty won't change his finishing position. Verne will drop 3 places with his time penalty for his running with Louis Foster earlier in the race. Caro's got 2 more laps to enjoy here. I hope that the checker flag comes out without any more mechanical gremlins involving him. Seconds the margin between Buemi and Browning. Buemi is looking good for his second podium finish in a row, and Lopez getting a 5th place finish. Prost are about to leap out of the bottom 3 with 4 races left. What a turnaround it has been for the French squad in the last couple of races. They looked dead and buried. It just goes to show it can all change in a short space of time. Costa, second in the Formatel. He'll move into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. He won't be breaking the race winning record that is equal between him and Scott Dixon. Ryo Hirakawa has started the final lap of the race. He still hasn't lapped Louis Foster. And I can tell you that Rowland has passed Jake Dennis. Oliver Rowland is through to 7th place, and it's going to be more points coming in the way of Prema. And less points for Andretti because Rowland's got past Dennis. Rowland's on course for a 6th place finish. And if Louis Foster can just stay on the lead lap, who knows what could happen on the last lap here, if he can help it. But Ryo Hirakawa has driven a splendid race. A brilliant race from the Japanese. Already a race winner this season at Jerez. And he's about to add to his tally here. He started the race from 10th on the grids, leapfrogging up to the win here. And what a job from Giacomo Pagliaro, the team manager of Minardi. He's about to see his driver come out on top again. Ryo Hirakawa wins the League One Kyalami Grand Prix. It's the 2nd win of the season for both him and for Minardi. And Topher Costa finishes 2nd. And it's the new championship leader with 4 races to go. And we wait for Sebastian Buemi. He's going to come through to bag another podium finish for both him and for the Prost team, who are now out of the bottom 3 with another remarkable performance today. Luke Browning is 4th for HRT on his return. And Jose Maria Lopez completes Prost's best day of the season by far, with his best result of the campaign, on his way to a 5th place finish. In the last 2 races alone, Prost have bagged 43 championship points. They had 16 before Marrakesh. What a turnaround. Jean-Luc Verne's time penalty drops him down the order, with Rowland finishing in 6th place, Dennis 7th, Verline 8th, and Verne dropping to 9th place. Louis Foster bags a championship point for Prema. He remains on the lead lap. It's a win for Ryo Hirakawa and for Minardi in the League One Kyalami Grand Prix. Antonio Felix da Costa 2nd, Sebastian Buemi his 2nd podium finish in a row for Prost in 3rd, Luke Brown in 4th, Jose Maria Lopez in 5th for Prost. 2 Prosts in the top 5. Oliver Rowland safe. Good points for Prema. Jake Dennis 7th for Andretti. Pascal Verlaine 8th. Jean-Luc Verne in 9th for Force India with his time penalty. Louis Foster bagging the final point for Prema in 10th. Linus Lundqvist 11th, followed by Joseph Loke, who finishes for the first time. Pascal Ward 13th. And despite his time penalty, no change to his position for Nolan Siegel. Rafael Marcello retired towards the end. Philip Albuquerque also out. We've also lost Alex Palou. René Rast was running towards the top before he retired on debut. Scott McLaughlin, Leo Fornaroli, Stoffel Van Dorn, Scott Dixon, Kevin Estra, Kevin Magnussen, Philip Hansen, and Felix Rosenquist, who were also out of the race. The pole position and fast lap points go to Kevin Magnussen, which is little consolation for him. Formatel do at least get some good points after all. A 2nd win of the season for Ryo Hirakawa and for Minardi. And once again, for the 2nd race in a row, none of the top 4 teams were able to come away with the race win. Antonio Fitz by finishing in second place moves into the championship lead, leapfrogging Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenqvist in the process. He now has a 12-point lead over his nearest rival heading into New Delhi. In terms of the team's championship, Arrows stay in the lead, considering that Onyx didn't score as well. Formitel by bagging 20 points. They are now 13 off the lead with just 4 races left. It really is game on in that. In other matters, Prost, big haul of points, their best of the season. They not only leap up 1, not 2, but 3 positions. And most importantly, out of the bottom 3 for the first time since Rockingham. And with Andretti scoring as well, Ram fall into the bottom 3. They have it all to do if they are to remain in League 1 next season. It's time to run down on the League 1 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And I'll see you for the next round in New Delhi in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
Well, an unexpected victory today here for Ryu Hirakawa, but a well-deserved one nonetheless, chasing down Antonio Felix da Costa over the last third of the race, and he got the job done beautifully. So well done to Ryu Hirakawa, his second win of the season here today. Da Costa on the podium with him, and Sebastian Buemi in third. Prost hitting a fine run of form just when it matters as they look to avoid that relegation battle, so well done to them today as well. But it could potentially be quite an important day in the championship, with quite a lot of the contenders dropping out once again. But Antonio Felix da Costa, with his second place today, has moved into the championship lead, 140 points for the Formitel driver, now 12 ahead of Rosenqvist. How important could that result be at the end of the season, I wonder? Scott Dixon third on 123 ahead of Kevin Estra and Robin Frein still on 113 each. Kevin Estra in a bit of a rut at the moment with his finishes, and he'll be looking to bounce back next time out in New Delhi. Scott McLaughlin 6th on 95 ahead of Kevin Magnussen on 88. Ryu Hirakawa up to 8th in the standings on 85 ahead of Christopher Bell, and Philip Hansen rounds out the top 10 on 49. In the teams, Arrow still leads the way on 241, getting away with it a little bit here today with their double retirements, also being complemented by a double retirement for Onyx as well. But Formitel, the biggest beneficiaries here today, now within 13 points of the championship lead. It's getting really close between those top 3 teams for the championship this season. HRT 4th on 169 ahead of Minardi on 131. BAR 6th on 106 ahead of Force India on 81. Prost now out of the relegation zone with their 3rd place and 5th place today. Tom Cairns will be massively happy with that result. He can now look forward to potentially keeping his team in League 1 next season, but it could all still change. Carlin's only 1 point behind on 58. Andretti not too far behind either on 47. Rams into the relegation zone now on 42 ahead of Prema on 35. And Simtek, it looks like they might not be going anywhere, and their new team manager Ben Hackerson, I'm sure, is looking forward to Season 6 already. 2 fantastic races here today in Kyalami, and 4 rounds left to go in Season 5. It is getting really close across all 4 of our championships, and we still don't know who is going to win each of those championships. We'll have to wait and find out over the next 4 rounds, but until the next time in New Delhi in India, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.